Hey, I'm Jeff, and I make music with my brother.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I also make music with my brother.
Together, we are Ekko and Sidetrack, and we make music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack.
Hi, I'm Glenn from Currumbine, and my favourite burger is the barbecue bacon cheese.
Hi, I'm Damon from Junedana, and I love me a short order before the gym or after the gym. And sometimes I skip the gym completely. I just can't go without my fiery short order. I had bacon as well.
Yeah, don't mind taking the kids down there on a Saturday afternoon because of the kids' meal. It's a great little value pack.
I caught the train to go to this place.
Whatever your favourite is, Short Order have you covered. Order online at shortorder.com.au and pick up, or visit one of their two locations, Fremantle or Perth City. Don't forget to use the discount code Ekko and Sidetrack for 10% off.
Jonathan, this is a little bit different.
Yeah, this is the most technologically advanced podcast we've ever done.
It sure is.
With new mics, video option, toggle video. If you want to see our faces, that's probably not available on the podcast app. But I wonder if you'll be able to do video on Spotify.
Soon enough. Joe Rogan leads the way with COVID initiatives, and he leads the way with video on Spotify.
Sure. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Better than I have been all week. Thanks for asking. I have had a bit of a stressful week, as you have well been part of.
Yes.
As we have finished our next single, which comes out soon.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a bit of a stressful grind as it comes to that pinch point.
Do you think it always has to be a stressful grind?
Oh, I don't think so, but it seems to be the way that we have been working for the last while.
Forever.
I was chatting to Scott about this actually earlier. Scott Mellor, shout out to Scott Mellor, who actually has a podcast of his own with Josh. And I can't remember the name of it, and I'm so sorry, Scott.
Great Friends. Maybe that's what it's not called Great Friends, but it could be.
It could be called Shit Friends.
Shit Friends.
But he was saying that that's how he works, and that's how he knows he works, and that's just, he's accepted it. But there's got to be a better way, because it tends to be like, I think he described it as like head in the clouds, like meandering, doing a few bits of pieces, and then like before deadline, it's like, and you got to pull out all the stops. But that's incredibly stressful, and stressing on your nervous system, not just on the work you're creating as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely think there's always going to be stress leading towards the final handing in of a product or a job, but I definitely think it can be done without so much tension.
I agree.
It's the tension that bothers me.
Yeah, totally agree. Do you think the song would have changed had we not had a deadline?
Don't know. That's a great question.
Because the song was completely different 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what tends to happen with us is that we have a deadline and we get the song up to a point, and it's like, the song's done, don't do anything else to it. It's done. We're at 90%. We can't change anything. It's just massaging of the mix that's going to fix the song.
Yep.
And invariably, there comes a point late at night where we're listening to this and we go, this song fucking sucks. And the other person goes, yeah, it does.
It needs X.
It needs X. And then...
Well, let me just try.
And then we go, oh, okay, we can do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Like this song literally took a step when you said to me, do whatever you want tomorrow. That's when the song then moves forward, because what we think we're at 90%...
It's actually 60.
Is actually 60. And when we're at 90% was last week, when we've been massaging the mix down in Carl's studio and like pushing things and pulling things and talking about it with Bren and getting a master back from him and
also
making some changes.
You realize
that type of thing.
how mixed a song is by the fact you can make some pretty drastic changes and the whole mix doesn't collapse.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, we can push this. We can like take that out, and you're like, no, we've still got a thing there. If it's too fragile, you don't have a mix. You've just got a playable version.
Yeah. And I think if you're moving around a song, fragile is a good word. If you feel like you can't make any moves, then the song is not done.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way of
that
looking
make
at
sense?
it. Because that's the ultimate belief that the song would be done. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the perfect example.
It's
of
like,
that.
don't touch it.
No, that's the point when you should bounce it down to one track, grab it and be like, this bit here, remember when I moved the vocal and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, there were a few big moves, and this song has been a little bit of a forced thing for a while until it really revealed itself. Because it was a few different things. We changed the vocal, we had things, and then like...
And this is also kind of us. Maybe we can talk more about the song once it's out.
Yeah, I mean, just finish your thought.
Okay, I was going to say it's been a couple of incarnations. Like this has evolved from a song that we've been trying to push for like 8 months.
But it's so different.
But it's so different.
So
But it's interesting.
it's not even the same song.
No, it's a completely different. I think it's in a completely different key as well.
It is.
But it has just been this, a bit of a push in terms of trying to get this done. This kind of song done. If that makes sense.
But I hope that people hear it and be like, wow, that's like so effortlessly elegant. It's such a simple song.
That's all music should be like, oh, that's so effortlessly elegant. They just played that lead. Oh, it was so
they just
nice.
Sat there and went, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but it's not. And most songs most art is the result of a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of work, a lot of crying, a lot of laughter, a lot of pain. And then the person enjoying the song just goes like, oh, that's nice.
Not always. It doesn't have to be, but I think you're right. I think sometimes the idea for a song will come pretty easily, and then it's like, whoa, I've got the bones for a song. Let's take this further. But you've done you've been struck by the muse, and then you're like, I got it out of me. Like, we've both shown each other demos recently, and we've been like, that's a jam. Yeah. But that's okay just to leave on the shelf for now. It's in a stable position to go back and muck around with.
Yeah.
Whereas this song, it was in C minor, then I transposed it, then I changed the vocal and I tried to make that other vocal work, then we changed the drums, then we arranged it, and then it always just felt like we just wanted is it done? Is it done?
Yeah.
Is it done? And I guess we got that answer. Yeah, we got it done. We got it done.
Well done.
And we're going to celebrate tonight by eating some KFC and having some champagne.
Yeah, what's the origin of that?
So I read in Dave Grohl's book, The Storyteller.
Yep.
Or should I say more accurately, I listened to Dave tell me about KFC and champagne. He tells a story about him catching a flight from Perth to Sydney and then Sydney to LA to go to make it back for a promise that he made to his daughters. And he talks about when he got to the plane, the first private jet. Adelaide to Sydney to LA to Sydney to Perth, because he made it back for the Perth show.
Okay.
When he gets to the private jet, KFC and champagne is waiting, and he's like, and then he just talks for a little bit about. He's like, it's a magical combination. It just works really well. It's like the dirty and the clean. It's
just
lovely.
the chicken?
I don't know. Let's get some chips as well.
Okay, I'm down for some coleslaw.
Fuck the coleslaw, bro. I reckon we go. Actually, let's just. It's been so long since I've eaten KFC.
Yeah, I haven't had KFC for 2 years.
2 years.
No, actually, I got KFC when I was in London.
I haven't had KFC for 5 years. But I'm looking forward to some of that crunchy kernel. But the way he talks about it and the way he describes it, I was just like, man, that sounds good. And then I thought, what's the next thing we're celebrating? hopefully we'll be finishing a song, and then I suggest it to you, and you said it sounds good. And tonight we're actually gonna
Do it.
close the loop. Part of me goes, I'll get some good sparkling. Like I know,
Yellow Glen.
No, Grant Burge is very decent sparkling wine, so it's essentially champagne. But I'm saying no, fuck that. I'm gonna buy some Pomeroy or some Mum, and it's gonna be actually champagne.
Yeah.
And we're gonna probably drink it from mugs.
Yeah.
And we're gonna eat crunchy chicken.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, we fucking did it.
And then feel like shit after in about 20 minutes after.
That's why we're going to the gym beforehand and then promptly going to sleep.
And we have actually finished 2 songs this week, but it's important. We've spoken about it on the podcast before that we don't really celebrate our successes that well. We're not great at celebrating our successes.
It's hard to do because like it's so on to the next one. I've spoken to people about this like treadmill of like achievement. You're like, yeah, cool, good, we're done, on to the next one.
Yeah,
and that's really dangerous.
Yeah, because it's like it was all for nothing in some way because you're never taking stock of the work or celebrating the fact that you actually made it through. It's like going through a really hard maze and getting to the end and turning around and doing the maze backwards. It's just like you're perpetually in a maze rather than getting to the other end.
And all you do when you get to the other end is like slide a tiny piece of paper into a pneumatic tube and says, I did it.
Yeah. And then you go back. Yeah, it's interesting celebrating your successes and feeling like you're accomplishing something. Because otherwise it is all for naught.
And also you can't put too much attention on what other people might think of it. It's like you send out the tune, we're going to send it to a few people, and we have shown it to a few people, and the feedback's been really positive. But, if it wasn't, that's still okay as well.
Yeah.
But it makes it sweeter that, like, you send out the master and someone really vibes on it, and you're like,
yeah.
Okay, good. We've done a good one.
Because unfortunately, it matters to some extent what other people think more than we think, what we think.
Yeah.
Because if we sent it to Seb and he got back to us and was like,
Shout out to Seb.
Shout out to Seb again. Big up. If we sent it to him and he was like, not really feeling this, guys.
Well, he wouldn't give feedback like that.
He wouldn't. But just let's play fun make-em-ups. Imagine if he said that. Would you then, we might be inclined to be like, fuck, how can we make this good? Because obviously we value Seb's opinion.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult to like, okay, that's fine. To just not listen to that feedback at all.
No, you've got to. That's why you should only show things to people whose feedback you value.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
absolutely.
You share something and go, oh, that person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Who cares?
Yeah. And you should never dismiss someone's feedback instantly. Because it is always like someone can have different taste. But I think it can be different when it's the final product.
When it's the final product, it depends. That's what I sometimes ask people. Are you looking for feedback or is this it?
Yeah.
Not is this it? Is this it? Is this the finished thing?
Yeah.
And like sometimes, they'll be like, it's the final product. And you're like, cool. Well, I like it. Or, yeah, we're not going to play it. It's not really our vibe or whatever. And then maybe you can say, next time, look for this. Or sometimes it's just like, this is great.
Yeah.
And, you could be like, oh, I kind of wish
But there's no...
So-and-so.
There's no
it doesn't
point,
matter. Who fucking cares?
There's no point saying, I kind of wish, or I wish this was done slightly differently, or anything like that. When...
It's done.
It's done.
It's complete.
That's a bit of a dick move. We were talking about something this week. Something had been pressed to vinyl. A song of people that we know had been pressed to vinyl. And someone was like, oh, can we give this another take? And they're like...
The vocalist was like, oh, yeah, can I give it another take? And they're like, we told you that you had all this time.
It's done.
It's
done.
And you made the point that pressing to vinyl is a very physical representation of music.
There's no way to pull that back. There's no like file swap like you can possibly do on Spotify.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming back from that.
How was your week? Apart from the musical. I saw you Changed your hair?
I got a haircut.
Oh.
Shout out to Two Singular. Random Mandy.
Hello, ladies.
It's been good. I haven't been sleeping well, man.
What's wrong?
Dunno. Haven't been sleeping well. Lots of
Are you drinking coffee again, or are you still drinking matcha?
no, I'm back on coffee.
Yeah, we accidentally got given a matcha the other day. Me and Holly went to, shout out to Holly. We went to Chew Bakery. Shout out to Chew Bakery.
Do you reckon they're called Chew Bakery because it sounds like Chewbacca?
Absolutely. I know for a fact that's why it's called Chew Bakery. It's the Chew Bakery. We went there and I was like, 2 batch brews, please. And she's like, yep, no worries. And it took like 5 minutes for them to come out. And I came out the little window and me and Holly were walking up the road laughing. And I put it to my lips and I just tasted creamy green.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I like spat it out. And,
Really?
Holly was like, what? And I was like, this is matcha. I was like, try yours. And she's like, what? No. And we both laughed and then we took it back and we were like, hey, we've got matcha and I think we ordered batch. And she was like, oh, or maybe I said like
Batcha.
I was like, we got matcha, but we wanted batcha. I don't know, but it was an honest mistake, and they laughed about it and they apologized. And the girl was like, I don't like matcha either. And I'm like, that is the ultimate like curveball. I thought I was getting this, and now I'm drinking bong water. Essentially.
It does taste like bong water, sugary bong water, hot bong water,
Hot Japanese bong water.
No, I'm back on the coffee. But I think what fucked me yesterday was I had a Red Bull before I went to the gym,
Wow.
just to like as a bit of pre-workout because I hadn't slept well the day before. Like I haven't had over 6 hours sleep for the last 4 nights,
You look like it.
and I feel tired.
We picked a good night to.
Start video on the podcast. Look like a fucking bag of sand. But yeah, I don't know. I've been getting into bed and just like being swamped by thoughts, and those thoughts have been a mixture of positive things, a mixture of negative things, a mixture of what ifs. It's a mixture of ideas.
Do you ever just write a page of stuff before you go to bed?
Yeah.
Like a real brain dump?
Yep.
Do a brain dump and a to-do?
Yep. And that somewhat fixes it, but it doesn't. It also, like these last 2-3 nights, there's been like restlessness as well.
I mean, caffeine doesn't help. Like my only
But I've
solution,
been on coffee. I've been back on coffee for a while.
No, but it doesn't matter. The half-life of coffee is 6 hours.
Yeah.
So if you have you had a small Red Bull, that's at least 150 milligrams of coffee.
Oh yeah. I think last night was definitely to do with the Red Bull.
But even if you just have a coffee like kind of later in the day, and then like it's almost like the weight that keeps the water wheel ticking over.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, my wheels are slowing down.
But I don't
everything's
have-
fine, and then all of a sudden you just get this like coffee.
I don't have coffee after 2. Like I have 1 coffee, 2 shots at usually 10:30.
You had a 3-shot coffee today.
Today was 3 shots because I couldn't. I was so tired,
Yeah.
and I still feel like it didn't really touch the sides at all.
Well, that's the thing, Look at what
But
Matthew
I don't.
Walker said about sleep. There's a certain point where you reach the point
Yeah.
of diminishing returns. You need to get into bed tonight after you eat the kernel and have
Yeah.
some champagne.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't been. I haven't been sleeping well, and I haven't been waking up well. I've just been like restlessness.
Do you have the
as
same
well.
wake up time every day?
Yeah, mostly. And when I don't have enough sleep, that is prolonged by about 25 minutes. It's amazing, like, how long I spend. I wake up and spend 15 minutes nearly every morning being like, fucking hell, I really don't want to get out of bed. Like, fuck this. This fucking sucks. Like, it's 6:45 now. I've got fucking 10 minutes before I
Yeah, man.
And there's just there was like, I got resistance. It's interesting because I'm doing so well in so many different aspects of my life, whether it's
You are, buddy.
going to the gym or being more productive in whatever. But then it's like that my mornings have been the thing, and probably just before I go to bed has also been one of the things that have slipped.
I think you watch too many things before you go to bed.
I don't watch anything before I go to bed. I read. I've finished June,
That's great. I've got to
but now I don't have. I've got
100
to
pages
start a new
left.
book. But like,
come to the library and check one out.
I read before I sleep.
But there'd be so often. I know recently there's been times where you're like, I'm just going to watch part of a movie. And I'm like, why not just, instead of starting something else, just start like closing the tabs on your browser. Like, just like,
I mean, I did watch. I watched a View to Kill, not A View to Kill. What's the movie with Samuel L. Jackson? And his daughter gets raped, and he kills the two guys that rapes her. And Matthew McConaughey's the lawyer that defends
Time
him.
to Kill?
A Time to Kill. I watched A Time to Kill. Great movie. I watched A Time to Kill on Sunday, and that was quite late. That might have started the chain reaction.
if you're tired, man, just go to bed. That's hard to do.
But again, it's not. Again, I feel like I'm just fucking a broken record. I'm not like lying in bed with a laptop, kind of struggling to keep my eyes open. Like, no, one more. I'm not doing that.
But you don't have to be the worst addict to be an addict.
And I'm still like turning. Like, I'm pretty good at turning off my phone and not looking at Instagram or YouTube late at night. But it's just. It's almost like I turn off these things and read, and then, I don't know, something kicks back up, and I start thinking crazy things.
What's the wildest thought you've had?
So last night, I'm learning a song on the guitar. So I'm teaching myself this song on the guitar because I want to be able to play it.
Wow.
So I did that for 15 minutes before I went to bed last night. And I closed my eyes soon after that. I did that after I read.
That's still quite stimulating.
It might, yeah. And then I turned off the lights and kind of went into like tossing and turning a bit. And maybe it was like 15 minutes. And I kind of went to sleep, but like woke back up.
Mm.
It felt like it was later in the night, and I felt like my eyes were kind of heavy, but I didn't know if I'd been asleep. And I was like, have I slept for like 3 hours, or have I not like literally slept for 1 second and now I'm back awake?
Yeah, not sure.
Because I was still kind of thinking about the guitar tablature, and like my brain was kind of still moving, so I didn't really know. So I was like, okay, I needed to do a wee. So I got up and went to the toilet. And when I opened the door, I instinctively looked left out into the kitchen. And I swore I saw someone standing there.
Oof.
And I like kind of double took. And it was just the way the moonlight was bouncing off a piece of glass in the
Swamp
kitchen.
gas.
Something like that. And I was like, fuck. And then as I was walking to the toilet, all my thoughts started to think about like, imagine if there was a demon inside the house right now. Like, imagine if you're going to go back into your room and you close the door and you turn around and there's just a demon from the underworld there.
Come for your soul.
And like, this is the time when you get taken away
And you're the person that the demons decided to like.
to incarnate into.
No one's
and
gonna
like,
believe you, Jonathan.
and it was one of those things, one of those
That's so
one of those
unreasonable.
one of those thoughts that's like, that makes you think you're do you remember when you were scared of the dark?
Yeah.
Do you remember that feeling of being scared of the dark? And then as you get older, you're like, oh, it's the dark. I don't need to be scared about that. It's fine.
Yeah, your brain creates like all sorts of shapes in the shadows.
It felt, coming back into my room, it felt like I was fucking 10 years old again and I was afraid of the dark. It had that kind of like forebodingness.
Your brain's so powerful, man. Like the other day,
And there wasn't a demon in my room.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that's how.
Just
the
to
story.
finish off that story.
And now we bring on our guest, Greg. He's from the underworld. He's a demon.
I have incarnated myself into Jonathan's body. Who else wants to be incarnated in?
I personally can't wait for the KFC to be ingested into my clavic, like fucking cloaca.
That's the final piece of the puzzle to
just-
open the gates of hell.
KFC and some champagne
Yeah.
into a demon's cloaca.
Yeah, that's how Lucifer gets fucking reborn in 2021.
Let's not hope that Lucifer is a metaphor for what's going to happen in the morning.
That is definitely going to happen, though.
It's its own demon that you're raising.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I opened the window 2 nights ago at home, and you could hear like it was quite windy, and there was something
Scratching
creaking,
around.
a bit of scratching, and there was like a shaking in the building that sounded like it was just a car or something. I don't know what it was, but it felt like it was the start of like an earthquake or something. And I was just like, and then I like pulled the blind down a little bit, and then I heard this other little noise, and I was kind of like, this is all happening. Like the lights are on in our house, and like Holly's just kind of looking at me, and I'm like, I just like step back a little bit faster from the window. It's like, whoa! In my head, I was like, imagine a hand just came up to the window. Or
You can convince yourself of so many crazy things.
That's why
you
the
know.
power of suggestion is so good. Like with
Yeah.
like movies and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you don't see the alien; you just know it's nearby, and you're like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah. That's the key to a good scary movie.
It is.
Suggestion.
Speaking of things we do at night, I woke up last night. I thought I heard some noises, and I was like, I kind of went back to sleep. And then I woke up again, and I heard Chev,
Your cat.
our cat,
Yes.
our sweet boy.
Big up, Chef. Hey, Chef.
Shout out to Chev. And he was in the house, and like then Holly came back into the room, and then she closed the door, and I was like, "Is he in the house?" And she's like, "Chev's been in a fight. I'll tell you more in the morning." And I'm like, "Oh, is he okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's okay. I just went. I'll tell you more in the morning." And so like this morning, I woke up, and I was like, "Did that actually happen?" One, and then I went out there, and Chev was there, and I talked to her.
Because it does
Actually,
feel...
I went out and gave him a little hug at night as well when I realized this had happened to him.
Yeah.
But Holly told me the story.
Yeah.
And basically, she'd heard, it was like 3:00 in the morning, she'd heard the cats make, you know, that like there's another cat nearby and we're about to rumble.
Yeah, like a hiss.
Yeah, hissing and
Yeah. Yeah.
those noises. And she was like, "Oh no, Chev!" And there's a big bully cat down the road.
The big black one?
It's like turtle shell. That's like its eyes are crossed, and
Man,
it's
there's that photo that Holly has of the big black one standing in the archway.
it fills the archway.
That fills the arch. It looks like a fucking panther.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I've chased it off once before, but this, last night was.
The tortoise shell.
Yeah, Holly heard the noises, and then she went out there, onto the balcony, and she was like, "What's going on?" And then she could see them like over the other side of the
Of the street.
car park.
Yeah.
And then like there's this cat arching its back, and Chev's just kind of standing his ground. And she's like, "Be brave, Chev, like come back." And she like yelled, like kind of called him, and he turned around and looked around and didn't do anything or held his ground. And then the other cat like kind of making noise, and she's like, "I'm gonna go get him." And then so she put on a shirt and like ran out and kind of made some noise and tried to scare off the other cat, and the other cat was like ready to pounce, and then she kind of scared him off, and then Chev ran off a bit, and then he came back to the door on the balcony
Yeah.
where he comes in. But yeah, she like kind of stopped the fight before it happened. But Chev, I asked, I was like, "So you broke up the fight?" And she was like, No, Chev was very brave. Chev stood his ground, and I was just there if he needed me.
Yeah,
And I
like
was
backup.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's so supportive. That's so lovely."
That is lovely.
But then Chev was in the house this morning, and he came into bed, and he like was talking to us and told us why his nose is grey and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, and he's like, "Thanks, Mom, for like helping me out, but I didn't need it." I was like, oh, you're right.
He's a growing boy.
He's a growing boy.
I remember when our family cat got into a fight, and there would sometimes be, I don't know if you'd come home and there'd be cat fur
Oh, yeah.
around either the front yard or the backyard, and you'd come in and Dad would be like, "Oh, Oscar got into a fight,"
Oscar was hard as.
and then he'd be kind of like quiet, maybe had a couple of scratches on him.
He's the cat that died and rose again.
He is the resurrection.
Do you want to tell that story quickly for the listener?
Yeah, so we had a cat called Oscar. Originally, our mum bought him for one of her friends who was a bit sick at the time. And her friend, at the sight of getting a gift
Of a live animal.
of a live animal, kind of got up in arms and was... we didn't really like this friend. And she kind of said, like, you don't buy pets for people. How could you give this to me, as if the gift was going to be a burden? And he might have been, but either way,
She had her own issues.
she did have her own issues. We ended up having Oscar.
Taking him. It
Taking
just
him.
turned out that one day we came home and we're like, we have a cat.
Well, I think what it was I came home from school and Oscar was there, and I remember playing with him, and then she was like, "All right, we're going to take him." And maybe I said, "Can't we just keep him?" or something like that. And then 2 hours later, Mum came back with the cat and was like, "We've got him." She went fucking mental. It's fine. She's dead now. Sorry.
Shout out to...
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's
Back to Oscar, because he's dead now as well.
yeah. They're together now. Can't send him back from hell. It's funny to think that she's in hell, but I hope she's not. That's fucked up. Anyway, so Oscar came back into our life, and we loved him. He was great. He was shaped
Like a
like
cat.
a cat and coloured in black and white colouring.
Cow cat.
Cow cat. So we had him. He was maybe we had him for 12 years, 13 years, I want to say.
We had him for 10 years.
10 years?
And then
10 years, and then one day he goes missing.
he just disappeared.
He just disappeared. And he had gone places and gotten stuck a couple of times before. So he loved eating cardboard. So he'd got
Who
into
doesn't?
he'd got into a neighbour's garage and got inside a box and started eating the cardboard in a box, and the neighbour's garage had closed their garage.
What a filthy little animal as well. Like,
Is it-
I'm just going to go and masturbate in the neighbour's garage. He's
Do you
just
remember?
like doing his little secret
Do you remember
nibbling.
if you like I used to scratch his tail just near his back, and he used to get all like horny, and then he used to start sucking his own dick. Do you remember his little dick?
Yeah.
That was shaped like a pinky.
Yeah, it's cat's penis.
He loved
a
it.
concept.
He was a piece of shit. He was an absolute
Deviant.
deviant.
A
So-
cat-shaped deviant.
So he used to go suck himself off in a cardboard box in the neighbour's house. But he got stuck in the neighbour's garage for like 3 days. We eventually found him.
And a few other situations happen like that.
Where he kind of just went missing for a day and would come back. So this time he goes missing, and it's been 3 days, and we put out posters, and we think he's just going to come back, but he doesn't
And like
at all.
3 weeks later, we're still walking Silky at the time.
No, Polly.
Polly. Yeah, the Kelpie that we have. And we're like walking past certain areas where Oscar would sometimes go if he ran out of the yard.
Yeah,
She's like sniffing areas, and we're like, has he gone away to die? Like that's a pretty classic thing that cats do.
yeah. So I think we checked like the spare block that's just near our parents' house, and we kind of looked around to no avail.
We did due diligence,
We did due diligence.
and we
Accepted that he'd gone.
and a year later we bought Olaf,
Another cat.
who was an amazing little kitten. He was great.
He was kind of like a tortoiseshell rando. The Hansons don't buy designer pets. The Hansons buy thrifty animals. I think a Kelpie, like we've had 2 Kelpies.
Yeah.
And I think she's a purebred, but she's like a
Yeah.
$600 dog. But cats we get from the Cat Haven.
Yes.
And so we got
Olaf.
Olaf,
And then Olaf was 6 months old.
6 months old,
And then
gliding through life, happy as a cat can be. This is about 18 months after.
and we're not even
Oscar's been
remembering
missing.
Oscar. We're like, oh, man, Oscar was such a cool cat. It was
Yeah.
so cool. Like, oh, I remember that photo. We
I
did
forgot
that
his
thing.
name.
Did you really?
No.
Who could forget Oscar?
And so then one day I came home and Mum was smiling. And she never smiles. No, that's not true. She was smiling and kind of like giddy and like, oh, like got something to show you.
Yeah.
I got a surprise or something. And I was like, what's up? She was like, come with me. And she opened the laundry door and there was Oscar. And it had been like 18 months. And he is bigger. He is like thicker.
Yeah.
He's making noises like
He's definitely gone wild.
he's gone fucking rogue, and like you kind of pick him up. He never really loved to be picked up by that many people. But he's seen some stuff. He lives in the laundry now. We have Polly and Olaf outside.
Yeah.
But what had happened was Mum had gotten a phone call and
We'll just wait. He doesn't live there now. He died.
no, he doesn't live in the
And
laundry now. He's
and
dead.
He only lived there for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then like a week, and then we reintroduced him.
Yeah, to acclimatise.
But what had happened?
But what had happened was he had gone. Mum had received a phone call from a ranger or from someone.
No, from a vet.
From a vet
in
in
Joondalup
Joondalup.
that said, "Do you know? Hi, I'm calling about Oscar." And she goes, "Oh, I am so sorry. I meant to deregister him. Oscar died 18 months ago."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the person was like, "He looks pretty alive to me." Yeah, that was basically how it happened.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, and then apparently he'd been in that area, just like around people's houses, and a few people had been feeding him, and
Yeah. So
he didn't have a collar because he'd always like
he would
take it
escape
off,
a collar.
but he was chipped.
But so people had been feeding him,
Yeah,
and
but
I think
he'd also been living the prison life.
I think he got up to Joondalup.
Yeah, we reckon he might have got in the back of someone's car, or even like he. I
'Cause
don't
that-
think he was stolen.
Because no, I don't think he was stolen. But because that's like a 10-minute. Sorry, not a 10-minute. That's a 10-kilometer,
Maybe more.
15-kilometer space,
Mm.
and would be quite random for him just to be like, you know what, I'm going to walk to Joondalup.
No, that doesn't happen.
So yeah, he'd been on the lam for 18 months, comes back, and then is reintroduced to Olaf, Polly, and
The family.
the family. He's a bit wary of Olaf at first, but they end up getting along, and Polly loves it. Polly's like the nurturing mother between them, and kind of like sorts them out if they ever have a fight. And then maybe less than 6 months later, Olaf gets hit by a car,
Yeah.
and Olaf dies. So it's back.
For real this time. We know he's not coming
Oh,
back.
no.
A few jokes were made at the time.
Maybe Olaf will come back.
Was Sally still alive at this time?
No, Sally did.
Yeah.
Our first cat she'd been dead a while.
Not that long though. She got bitten by a dog and then we had to put her down.
Yeah, fuck that dog. I remember like, Sally was sitting in a shoebox, and Oscar was saying goodbye to her. Probably not with words, but with Cat. He said something
Definitely.
telepathically.
She knew she was like
She was fucked.
She was fucked. She couldn't walk, but she was so otherwise capable, and she was just
Yeah.
like, I could just be here. I could just be she couldn't even move to eat, man. We'd put food
Yeah.
near her and drink near her, and she just moved like that. And
She pleaded her case pretty good.
Yeah,
but,
imagine just leaving a cat like that on like a mantelpiece. Like you just got to have food near them, and just like, whoa, is that a stuffed cat? That is very much alive. She can't move.
that'd be fucked. That's
Horrible.
I mean, we laugh out of grief.
We do.
We laugh out of grief. But
Back to Oscar.
yeah, we had to put Sally down. So, but Sally, Oscar lived a solid life and and suddenly became much more friendly. Like he loved sitting on Dad's lap.
Oh, he loved like just purring and finding a
He-
spot, and like
yeah.
he rarely left the yard as well.
Yeah, yeah. He became like an old man. He just loved sitting in the backyard, looking
some
out,
sun.
getting some sun. And then he died in January of 2020.
Yeah.
I remember you guys gave me a message because I was back in London saying Oscar had died. And I shed some tears and I looked at a photo of him and said, "See you, buddy. Say hi to Mary Rose for me." Fuck.
The guy.
I actually found his ashes the other day when I was cleaning out a cupboard. So next time we are both at Mum and Dad's,
We
we
gotta
can do a ceremony.
Yeah, because last time we did the ceremony
We did it for Silky
and Sally.
and Sally
Yeah,
and Olaf.
Yeah, I think so. We put the ashes in the veggie
Made
batch.
some jokes there too.
There was some jokes. Always
It's-
joking with the Hansons.
Yeah,
It's-
you can't have a funeral without jokes.
if it's a serious occasion, there's going to be some jokes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, cats. Fuck. That's actually a tattoo that I want to get. I want to get Oscar tattooed on me.
Do it.
A good remembrance.
A memorial.
A body art memorial.
Your body's a temple anyway, so.
It is a temple, and I'm about to fill that temple with a bucket of fried chicken
It's going to be good.
and champagne.
But gymming before will make that chicken feed the gym
Absolutely,
parts.
it'll be all the more sweeter.
Someone is yelling at the camera, "That's not how probiotics work," or whatever the fuck.
Probably.
Jonathan, it's been a pleasure sharing this
Yes,
video podcast
right
with you.
back with you.
Let's hope this works. Maybe this can be a regular thing.
I think this should be a regular thing. I think it's more dynamic with video, and plus now people can see us when we're laughing and smiling and having fun, and hopefully have fun with us.
Yeah. If you like the podcast, please like and subscribe and share. And I recently met a listener who told me she really likes us and likes the podcast, and finds it fun to listen at the gym. Shout out to Liz.
Shout out to Liz.
She enjoys it, and I think anyone that wants to share it with their friends or like it and subscribe and do all the things that help us reach more people.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the YouTube. Subscription on the YouTube helps massively and doesn't take much effort on your behalf.
And we got a great new sponsor as well this week, which is exciting. You'll hear the ad at the top of the.
Do we?
Yeah, it's great. I think it's a I mean, not to overuse the word dynamic, but I think it's a dynamic product and a website, and
Yeah.
I think if you can support that, then that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the way shout out to
Can't cut that out.
always shout out to Short Order, the best burgers in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brother,
Brother,
I love you.
I love you too.
I'll see you on the streets.
Farewell.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast app and keep up to date with all new episodes. They're going to be coming out once a week. We are Ekko and Sidetrack on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, we are Ekko Sidetrack. Go listen to our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, or wherever your ears consume happiness. Lots of love, people.